You can see now I'm starting to put the controls on. I want a little tab on there for the cable. And that'll be enough movement for the clutch, because this is going to be, you know, about like that. And I can make it so little moves this a lot by how long I make the arms and stuff. And I might shorten, like I say, shorten this one up, but I'll get the cables connected up. You know, the wire is still sitting right here, and the brake only needs to move a tiny little bit, so there'll be plenty of pull for the brake. I had to heat that and bend it to get it to come out and sit at the bar nicely, but that's looking pretty good. Just you know, for a clutch. And I welded a pipe here to run the cables through for the clutch and the brake. The throttle's gonna come up a different route, but I just kind of wrapped it around here for now. But I might weld a little tube there and a little tiny one here and here, just to hold the cables. I've already turned the steering and held the cables there, and it won't kink or anything. And that way the cables won't chafe the paint. It'll stay looking nice. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I'll see if I can find some small tubing, thin wall, just to run just this cable through. I think I have the Trikeabout pretty much all rideable. Let me show you what I've been doing on it here. So I hooked up the cables. This is the clutch. You can see it moves the belt, so you can see I can roll it freely. The belt turns on the pulleys, and then I can squeeze it and the engine will turn. So that tells me that that should work. And then the brake, obviously, I put a return spring on it there too, just to make sure it comes back. But that totally works. The only thing I got left to hook up is a governor, the throttle governor, and the shut off, but I could probably try and start it and see if it rides just as it is right now. I'll put a little gas in it maybe and try it. I've never run it. I put a new gasket cork on the gas tank because the original one was completely disintegrated. I took that off. I put a little bit of an exhaust on it here just to, so it's not blowing all over this stuff. It's just straight pipe. But eventually I'll make a muffler, you know, for it, and it'll probably come out here and then come across, you know, like come out, and then, because I want it about this wide back here and so, you know, so high. And I'll make baffles and everything in it so it's not loud. I don't think these engines are that loud anyway, but I don't want to run it straight pipe. But you can kind of see how I made the apparatus in there to and it's all adjustable. I can adjust it there, and I can adjust the cable through, and you know, I'll do everything up nice once it's painted. I just want to make it usable. I put a stop on here so if the cable comes off or something, that doesn't, you know, because I'm going to make a sheet metal guard for here, and I don't want that pulley to drop down and bend it after I get it all done up. So I did put a stop there, but it's not coming down to the stop, and I did slide the engine all the way as far back as it would go to make sure this doesn't hit the engine, and it clears the engine. And I think it's, I was going to shorten this up, but I decided not to. I like the way the pulley or the belt rides on the pulley there, you know, and I can make the cover not quite as big. So it'll probably come down here and then back to about here. It'll come off the top and go down maybe about to here. But it looks like I might have trimmed the gas tank a little. When the belt's engaged, it doesn't hit the gas tank. But when it's sitting there like that, it does. So we'll see. The sheet metal that I make might just keep that in check. So we'll just worry about that when the time comes. But there we go. We got what looks like a rideable trike. I made this one little tab a little longer than this one because it has to travel further than what this one does for the brake. That one has very little travel in it. And once these grip things are on, see how they have the little finger things? You know, they're going to be underneath right here. So I had to have some clearance to make up for those little finger hole things. You know, I just wanted to have that tricycle look and yet REO lawnmower look. And I think that those little handle things and one of these I shoved through the plastic on so you can kind of see what's going to be the, obviously there won't be two, but that'll be the foot peg once it's done, will be the pedals. And I got the recoil starter. I was gonna put it together, but I think I can start it with the rope line thing. I want this paint to dry good so I can put the decal on here. When I put the blower housing, I'll have to put the blower housing on, see where the spring goes, and then I'll probably put it together and then put the decal on. But I want the paint to dry a good week before I, you know, start manhandling it or anything. But we'll get a recoil on it before it's, you know, all finished up. And like I say, the frame and everything's going to be cream like the lawnmower. So I'll put a picture of the lawnmower in right here so you can kind of see what it looks like. The seat will be cream. This edge was originally white. That'll be green. Again, that fancy white that was up here will be green, and where it said Sears across the front here, it's going to say REO. And I'm going to paint these stripes in green. I'm going to drill another hole in here so the fender's mounted on there level like so. And then I'll knock that rivet out so I can take the fender off, and needs a little straightening and work, and then I can paint it apart and I can finish all the welds and stuff in here. But I think, you know, it's going to be a lot of finishing, but I think I'll, after I get it to where it rides, maybe, you know, I'll just turn the idle screw up or something. Then I'll start hooking up the governor and the throttle, and then I can take it apart and start grinding welds, and we can make it look super nice. But anyway, that's it. I'm gonna we'll see if we can get it going here and see if it works or if I have to start over. I did put a little bit of gas in it. It's not a lot, just enough to cover the fuel intake. And I opened the gas valve and I don't see anything dripping. I put paper towels there just in case. But nothing's dripping, the carburetor, the fuel cock, nothing. So I'm going to take it outside and see if it'll start it, but it's actually getting fuel into the carburetor. We will see. I'm just using the original REO pulley, and that may be too big. It may not be allowed to have enough power to get the thing going, and it may go too fast, but we're gonna see what it does anyway with it, seeing I have it. This will be the first time starting it since I rebuilt it. Hopefully it runs. We'll soon find out. Yeah, that's what I thought would happen. As soon as I went to engage it, it would stall it because it doesn't really have a governor on it. I might need to go with a smaller pulley. It's trying to go. Maybe go, I think that pulley's 3-inch, maybe a 1-inch or something like that. Tries. I think I'm going to definitely have to go with a smaller pulley, but it does the job. Surprised it. Yeah, it wants to go really fast. I need to downsize that pulley significantly. But it definitely works. Absolutely, it works. Very happy, no gas leaks. None out of the carburetor, none out of the anything. I'm going to just try and adjust up the carburetor, and then I'll get a smaller pulley. I'll probably have to change the belt too. Alright, I'll get a smaller pulley for it and then we'll go from there. I don't know if I can rev the engine and try and squeeze the control handle, but this thing feels like it wants to fly. It was, yeah, definitely needs a smaller pulley. Alright, I think I'll wrap this up here until I get a smaller pulley. Yeah. I wasn't giving it a lot of gas and it was moving along pretty good, and the brake's working. See where I skidded the tire, so it's not going to do a complete turnaround. Yeah, I definitely need to put a smaller pulley on the PTO shaft there, so we'll get one ordered up, and in the meantime I'll get the governor and the recoil and everything hooked up, maybe make a muffler. It's obnoxiously loud. Yeah, definitely smaller pulley is needed. And the governor and smaller pulley, and I think, you know, that way I can just set the RPM and we'll get a muffler made up. I'll get that. It works. I'm happy with it. So next is, like I say, the changing the pulley. We'll get that recoil on it too. That thing runs sweet. First time I've run it since I rebuilt it. If you haven't seen the videos on overhauling it, go back and look at them. I dug that engine out of a snowbank, frozen into the ground. It was at an estate sale in the backyard with a pile of Chrysler Slant 6s and V8s and a bunch of Briggs and Strattons, and it was literally this side of it all was frozen in the ground. It was missing the float bowl and some carburetor parts, and 805 Road King sent me another carburetor for parts. That's the carburetor that came with this engine. I just used the one Road King sent me for parts. That's a real sweet running motor. It doesn't smoke. It's got new rings in it, new used piston. That was pretty worn out, the original stuff, and smoked really bad when I got it going when I first got it. Well, originally I was going to put a smaller pulley on there, but I thought, well, this one's on here, I'll just try it and see what happens. But I'm going to get the smallest pulley I possibly can. I'll probably have to get another belt, but that's Celsius. There's Fahrenheit. It's been sitting here for a few minutes, so it's probably heat soaked, but it doesn't feel that warm. Yeah, the crankcase and oil is really cold, but the top of the engine's where the heat is, obviously, but it's not that bad. We'll see what the exhaust is. Yeah, that's some black pipe I had laying around, and it's actually, looks like it'll work. I'll have to plasma cut a little out there, so if I shift the engine forward and maybe thread this 45 in a little further too. I'll take it all apart, and when I go to clean everything up, I'll thread that on with the pipe wrench and stuff. I just hand tightened them just so the exhaust wouldn't be blowing all around on here. But it idles nice. Oops, I got to tighten up the seat. It runs good. We'll get the recoil on it. Get the kill thing wire hooked up and a governor, and get a smaller pulley on it. I had the idle screw turned down as low as I could get the engine to idle, and standing next to it, I squeezed this up, and it went faster than I could run, just idling. So yeah, we need to get that smaller. I can't really go much bigger with this, because I wanted to stay, that's about as big as I can go on this wheel. I suppose I could get another inch out of it, but finding these pulleys in that size is pretty difficult, and inch, various different sizes. That was an 8-inch, and I think the next one was a 6-inch, and next one was like a 12-inch, so that I could find. But anyway, there we go. It runs, and it seems to work. Just like I said, I just need to do some pulley modifications, and it should be good. Carburetor, nothing drips gas. This doesn't drip. Still got gas in the tank. I did turn the shut off and let it sit there and idle until the carburetor ran out of gas. But there we go. So obviously there'll be more videos on this thing. That was the goal, is just to see, just to get it roughed in and see if it works. And it seems to, other than, like I say, the pulley's too big. So that's part of building things. You play with things. Like I say, I didn't buy another pulley. Thought I'd just try that pulley, but it's obviously too big. So anyway, we'll do future videos when we get it a little more rideable. So if you like the video, definitely hit the like button. If you like my channel, hit that 348 engine icon. That will subscribe you. And thank you for watching my video.